matches. So we are jumping into game here. Let's see, Lion has been banned by MnM, and it is going to be the next ban coming through from Vexed. I expect Glaz.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't Glaz.
Although it is Vexed banning it, so...
What?
They're going to ban Ashe, which does leave Glaz up now for Vexed and MnM. Maybe Vexed just saying we're happy to play Glaz.
Vexed play Ashe.
Maybe they've
nerfed Doki.
They're shaking things up here. So we are expecting maybe a Clash ban. It's going to be a mirror ban here for the side of Vexed, and now MnM have that choice. Maybe ban Clash. I assume that's what we've seen primarily. Excited to see if Clash doesn't get banned though, because then we might see a little bit more spice in terms of that operator selection.
I'd imagine it's going to be Clash. It's either really going to be Clash or Maestro or Echo potentially, or even a Pulse could be another option. And it will be the Echo, yes. So kind of what I was expecting was the denial Echo really brings to these bomb sites, primarily over towards the top floor, but you do have the Clash available, which, like we said, very, very strong, especially on border, where she can provide all that intel, you know, really nullify any potential smoke pushes that maybe that the players of Vex want to go for themselves, which is going to be the case. Oh, they're just switching between a couple of those operators, and then they're probably going to six pick onto the Glaz.
They did have that Glaz picked in, and they can switch in and out if they want to. Doesn't look like that's what they're going to do. The sick pick phase does come through. Yeah, Glaz is going to come through. Yeah, I think they initially picked Glaz and then they switched it out, maybe expecting to find a good matchup here. But Hibana is going to be locked in. Again, we haven't seen Hibana yet, but Hibana comes through for Vex this time round. No Clash being used. It's going to be Smoke, Ela, Maestro, Jaeger, and Bandit for MnM here. So Glaz providing a lot of that long-range cover. And again, finds a lot of angles that you just wouldn't be able to cover from the inside of the house. You always have to be aware of where you're being seen from if you are the side on the defense for MnM.
So, first of all, we will be seeing the top floor defense for MnM. This will be their first chance to show us what they have in store for us. Pretty standard lineup, nothing really there that kind of catches me by surprise. They have the Smoke, they have the Maestro for that hard denial, and then they have that very aggressive roam game with the Jaeger and Ela. Primarily, you're going to expect Citizen more on the Bandit trick. Very, very strong fragger. He was last week inside of that secret matchup, so we might see him do potentially the same kind of mayhem that he may cause, but then equally, Vexed, very aggressive in what they provide. Jesus was a very strong operator, or not operator, a player on the side of Vex. So you're expecting to kind of see the similar players shape up and really stand up against either one. But it's still very early to tell. I'm sure this first round will kind of dictate the way the rest of the series will go.
All right, here we go. Vex now making their moves. Going through very quickly onto that second floor here. Going to start scouting out. Capital drones come through. Jesus trying to just clear out some of those barricades on the doors, getting some angles opened up here again, taking their time a little bit as Zach on the Capital moving through here. The smokes come through, so initially he's trying to create some space, and Glaz being able to see through those smokes is a massive, massive plus point. No one going to open up those angles though, so there's nothing going to be coming of this just yet.
Yeah, great bit of utility being used up by Vex. It just makes sure they can get themselves inside of the bomb site, establish their beachhead. Maestro camera will be very strong in enabling the counter to actually be established by the players of MnM. Mostly because those Maestro cameras can be seen through the smoke, but there you go, that nade will be tossed out and does eliminate that. So it does provide then the leeway for Feral to really use and abuse the smokes and also that OTS, which is oh so powerful in many circumstances. You can see Citizen, very aggressive shots come in, and also the flank may be trying to be established, but somehow the kills will go in favor of the players of MnM. C4 from that Citizen. He has actually a C4 on the Bandit. Quite surprising, and it's done the damage that MnM have needed to do. Doki-san
had a clear double headshot through the wood there and didn't get to take it in time, although the diffuser will come down for Zax as Doki-san does pick up his first kill, takes it down to a 3 versus 4. Now going to put the pressure onto MnM as another member goes down. They are now the ones that have to pick up the attack. And Jesus and Doki-san start fragging left, right, and center. Maestro now, Frau, moving his way through. Does get the pick up there, but will end up going down to Doki-san, who is on a very low amount of HP. Bandit, Citizen, trying his best here, but he has got so many angles that he has to cover. Peeks around the corner, popped off, and Doki-san picks up another kill, makes up for that loss earlier, and Vexed take the first round.
Well, 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 Vex starting things off very aggressive on the frags. This is where I said they started to be very scary. Whenever they have, you know, these great operators in these great crossfire positions, they always win these gunfights. MnM, we thought that was going to be a very successful and easy round for them after Vex kind of jumped the reins a little bit and, you know, just went for a straight up plant with, you know, still 1 minute 50 to go. Bit of a weird one. And of course then you can see Vex, Doki playing so big, a 4K for him. We'll see if he can keep it up and potentially he could hard carry the rest of his team to victory.
No changes here for Vex. They're going to run with exactly the same operators. Smoke, Ela, Castle, Jaeger, and Bandit. I think is that one change? Yeah, they're going to change it to Valkyrie. Not going to run with the Maestro. Castle coming in instead as well. Basically a direct switch out for Valkyrie and Maestro, you feel. Just providing similar kind of utility there in terms of info gathering.
So we will be switching off things into a ventilation room and workshop, so
we do have a change, actually.
Yeah, Maverick.
Yeah, Maverick comes through here. So, talk to me a bit about Maverick. It's the first time I'm seeing him as well. What is he going to offer here for Vexed?
Not a whole too lot, I would expect.
Not a lot.
Honestly, Clubhouse is really Maverick's map. That is his best kind of playstyle to use the Maverick in. For Border, not so much. There isn't that many destructible walls that you can really use and abuse those blowtorches with. Sure, may open up another potential angle, but in the long terms of things, I don't really expect it to come into play all too often or too big. Certainly Thermite and Habana is going to do most of that hard breach potential, and they will actually bring, you know, all three, which is a bit of a nice change that we do not see all too often, as sometimes we see at least one of those operators banned, but typically we don't really see all three of them picked.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Move starts coming in. Feral moving round to the south side. Jesus going to get onto that balcony as well. Opening up some angles there. Just trying to find if anybody's down on the bottom floor. Doesn't see anybody there. Trying to look across the hallway too. And suddenly we have the roster of Vex encircling MnM, trying to find their way in every left, right, way, and center. There's the blowtorch. Just Maverick doing his best. He creates great angles with that thing as well. Just, you know, angles that you wouldn't usually be able to find as easily, and he just jumps in there as well.
Still plenty of time for Vex to make this attack work. MnM still have that upstairs control very much inside their favor. Of course, the new changes where Glaz can no longer open up castle barricades by shooting it 11 times. Instead, he can just create these bullet holes. So certainly it can be used to a good advantage if you have those really long lines of sight. And the players of Vex, this is something that we see a lot more common whenever teams try and put that heavy top floor hold, is where they then opt for the bathroom area and towards the tellers, and they just walk in and plant right beside the A-bomb site. This is something that I believe I did see Vex pull off inside of the Premiership qualifiers that they did qualify in. So certainly Feral plays extremely big inside of this round. They primarily try and plant in towards the corner that I believe Doki may try and get himself set up for, but still a lot of time that they have to get this preparation set up for.
Glaz just finding that way through the smoke again. One of the powers of Glaz is that ability to use a smoke grenade and be able to see straight through it while the enemy has no vision of you. So if you step out in a smoke grenade in a line of sight that Glaz can have, then he will find the kill. Although Nilo picks up Zach. First frag of the game going over to MnM. Very similar story to the previous round, and Vexed hoping that they can find a repeat of those end chapters. Nilo again finds a flank. Doki-san goes down. That was right in front of his face. He finally takes the kill there as well. And now it's looking good for MnM on this defense. We thought it was going to be an even set of games, and certainly feels like it's going to be that way as Frau and Feral trade 2 for 2. Dealey picks up a kill into Frau in return, and it is a 2 versus 3. It is now up to Dia and Jesus. Jesus obviously performing very well for Vexed in the previous week on that Hibana. Lots of hard entry left for this team as Turtle takes out Jesus. It's now going to be a 1 versus 2 situation as Dealey picks up a return. He goes down, and that is going to be a defuse into a win for MnM.
Excellent retake strategy from MnM. I do believe that's something that they may have studied from Vex. That's a strategy that they know how to counter if they've watched back some of the VOD reviews and seen, yeah, this is certainly a play that Vex like to perform. Then, as you can see, it worked out extremely strong for them. So, Vexed, their strategy that I believe is very unique to them, where no other team really goes for that particular playstyle just did not work for them. You could see the counter strats come in from MnM. They had the very good retake strategy. Great kills coming out from Nello rotating in. Actually thought he was going to miss a couple of the kills there, but no, still gets the clutches whenever he needs to. And we certainly will, I think, have more of an even game compared to what we previously have seen.
Sledge now being switched out for Vexed. They have that option to change things over, and you can see they're going to change over to a Pulse for MnM instead of the Valkyrie, the Maestro, again coming through to provide the info. Smoke, Jaeger, Bandit. Lots of switches for MnM. Is this something that's pretty standard for them? Are they able to just adapt very quickly?
Yeah, they flex on operators quite a bit. They have a lot of flex potential on their side. They will bring out the Pulse, who is very deadly on this particular map. Maybe not so much on this bomb site, but we'll see if he makes it work. If they want to try and play that Pulse aggressively inside of the ventilation room or workshop, then potentially you could snag a couple of free kills onto Vex if they want to attempt to push in from that north side of the building. Still nothing out of the ordinary for MnM. They have the very stable room game from Turtle and Citizen being established, and then you can see the clutches come in that Nello and Freo are very proficient on their anchor operators. On the side of Vex, nothing really changed. You do see that Doki's still on that sledge. He does like that bit of sledge. But yeah, still Vex rocking with this glass setup.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
So no Maverick this time around. Again, I think you're right. Maverick didn't really provide much. I mean, yeah, you got an entry point, I think, down in detention. I think he entered through detention last time, but it really didn't do much for them. Maybe looking for some long range into ventilation room, but other than that, it really didn't do much for them at all. This is going to be, I think, it's a custom supply defense here coming out from MnM. What did that shape up to be like? Is custom supply something that's easier to defend?
Customs can be a little bit hit or miss. It depends really how the attackers want to play it. Will they attempt to establish that top floor control, because of course that security room does provide that entire destructibility factor, and also then that drop hatch right into the heart of that B bomb site. But instead Vex taking a very aggressive lineup. Seems to be that B bomb will be, or the A bomb should I say, will be the main objective that they want to try and establish. Proc's not necessarily using the Pulse as more of a roamer, instead will be using it as the intel on the bomb site. They'll see if anybody wants to try and open up that quad wall, but at the moment certainly Vex are geared up to try and take control of the supply room.
That's a really important room to take here, because that does give them the potential to push in, get that flank down as well, as Doki-san picks up the first kill of the game on to Turtle. Attempted shots through, looking for a wall bang here. Citizen not going to give anything up as Prox trades back onto Zach, a 1-for-1, back and forth, left, right and center between these two squads. You wouldn't expect anything less. We did expect this to be a close quarters affair as Citizen picks up a kill now. And Vexed find themselves a man down again on the assault. MnM shoring things up, another kill coming in for Citizen. This guy is performing, trading up time and time again. And it is another 2 versus 4 situation. Pulse should be able to, at short range, to keep most things in a safe position as he spies out another member of the Vexed roster. Although Feral trades back, Jesus trades back again, and now it's a 2-for-2.
Still a minute to go for the players of Vexed. Very good frags coming in from Feral and Jesus. Feral actually not even using his OTS. Instead, the pistol will be brought out. I'm quite surprised that Prox hasn't lobbed the C4 to potentially try and get the kill, but instead he will find Jesus running just out of the bomb site. Bit of a weird one there, and it will be down to Feral. Pushes in with the pistol, gets one, squares it off into a 1 versus 1. Prox, the birthday boy, he will fall. But Feral, he has took a lot of damage from that engagement, and Freo, all he has to do is sit back, hold the angles. He has the health advantage, has the Alda, but is he unsure that potentially you could see the glass coming in from behind him? Feral, do you know where the Maestro will be located? I think Freo does hear him, and he will pick up the kill. Very easy clutch from the Maestro. Feral falls, and MnM, they take the lead for the first time inside of the series.
Good ears there from the MnM boys. And they pick up that kill and take the lead overall. Really good start to their defensive roster right now. Vexed, who we said were probably the slight favorites coming in here, are on the back foot against MnM right now. This is a good start for these guys. And again, MnM also drawing to Secret last week, which was a big result for them. Secret, arguably that best team in the league right now. Points coming out there, the points are going crazy. I think the ping, is that ping?
Yeah,
is that like,
ping. That's a 400 ping.
His ping's like 400 right now. Is that someone from Vex? Is that Zach?
Yeah.
Oh, poor Zach.
Zach's moved to Australia all of a sudden.
Got to tell his brother to stop downloading. Stop watching Netflix.
Is that your best Londoner impression by any chance?
I don't know.
Bombs from being defused
Is he a
by
Well.
attackers.
I just literally said it in a random accent, my man.
Well, that was it's definitely a
What, you
clip
cheeky
for you.
lad, stop watching
dear.
Netflix.
Still better than Dez, though.
Dez is a Londoner, isn't he? No, he's Birmingham.
No, Dez
he's
is.
he's a Brummie.
Yeah, he
he's
is.
a
He doesn't. He's the posh part of Brum,
It's
though.
Trid that's a Londoner.
Yeah, but
See, I was born in Birmingham, but you'd never be able to tell.
no, because you were like, what, Ipswich?
Did you just nearly say what everybody colloquially calls my town on stream? I live in Ipswich, wasn't born. Yeah, I grew up in Norfolk, near a town called Wisbech.
So is this like nationalities with Scoundrel? Is this now the broadcast?
Went to university in Sheffield,
Attackers recovered the bomb
and then
diffuser.
moved to
Attackers
Ipswich
are
after
moving out to
university.
locate a bomb
God
and
knows why.
defuse it.
To be a doctor.
Yeah, but then I just sort of gave
Yeah,
it.
sacked it into.
Sacked
It said cast with people playing video games. Which, to be fair, I do that as well. But anyway, get back to the game. Potentially would probably be the best advice for us before. Oh dear.
If you guys are interested in getting involved on social media, by the way, you can use the hashtag ESL Prem. Also, if you go to @SixNationHQ on Twitter, you can also vote in polls. Zach has unfortunately been removed from the match. Not sure.
Looks like that ping came back to bite him.
Ping came back to bite him there. Unfortunately, Vex struggling there. We are maybe staying until the end of the round here, and then we'll see whether they can sort this out. Maybe they can trade up here, because Dokisan and Feral have traded up already. They're putting themselves into a man advantage. 4 versus 5 right now is a great start. The angles come through. That is a missed opportunity onto Feral, as now angles opened left, right, and center. MnM are going to have to mount a defense here. As this is, I mean, this is a great win for them. Off the back of a disconnect from their team members. Man, that is a big, big win if they can make it happen.
Still plenty of utility that MnM still have at their capabilities. Nello will use his first gas casters. The fuse will start to be implemented. You can see once again Feral pushing in very aggressive with the OTS. Eliminates Nello, looking for a double kill, but Pulse just manages to drop down the hatch. So at least they know that Pulse will still be up and alive, so they have to be careful of potential C4 from below. And that's exactly what Prox will be looking for. Doki, he gets one more kill onto Freyo, and really at this stage, what can Prox do except get a couple of C4s, even misses that one as well, and angles will be held. As soon as he rotates in, you would expect Doki to pick up the kill, and that's exactly what he will do. And Vexed, even though it was a 4 versus 5, still managed to find the win that they need, and we do go squared up once more.
Individual frags coming in strong for Vex. When they lose a member, it gets that much easier for them. We are going to be coming back here to the desk just for a moment while we get this sorted out, but it is a 2-for-2 right now, and a very close match as it stands. Neither team taking a massive advantage. When it looks like one team is rolling with it, they end up coming back in a big, big way. MnM having some great defense, but also, as you saw there, even with just 4 members from Vex, managing to mount the perfect offense too.
Yeah, certainly Doki playing very big inside of those matchups. We will see at least one more round on the side of MnM for their defense, and then one more attack coming out from Vex, and then we will see that halftime switch. So potentially we could be looking at all 10 rounds here. We could see a draw, or we could see a 6-4, which is kind of what I'm edging towards. I'm still not really sure who to go for in this scenario, because certainly Vex looked very strong on those top floor attacks, but not so much in the other ones, I would say. Definitely MnM, they've had that stable control. They've been able to see it out as much as they can. It's going to be really difficult to judge, and I'm sure after the first round of the defense and attack switch, then we will kind of have that more understanding of who will actually take that lead.
So I'll get word as soon as we can about the status of the Vex roster. I'm not sure. Zach looked like he definitely was struggling with ping, as we saw there, and unfortunately having to disconnect at the end. Means we're likely going to restart lobby, likely get back into it, and we'll just run with the score that we already have, which ends up being 2-for-2. But as you're right, we sort of said Vex looked like the confident, looked like the favourites coming in, but MnM has shown us that, especially like you said on those first floor defences, they've looked very, very strong, and this is going to be a very close round. Of course, we've had pretty one-sided affairs previously between our first 2 games where Team Secret 6-0'd, and we also had then, I think it was Guidance getting a 6-3 over their opposition. So obviously 2 very, very quick dominant rounds there for those 2 teams. This one looks like it's going to be a bit more of a sordid affair. So, I mean, on this next round coming in, I think we've not had 2 defensive We've not had 2 defensive wins in a row, so the selection of the bomb sites can really be anywhere right now for MnM. Are you saying that a first floor defense of either workshop or supply is the best thing for them?
Yeah, I can certainly see the vents coming out to play once again. Upstairs just hasn't worked for them. They went there twice. They did lose it twice as well. So I'm kind of expecting the ventilation room and workshop to be the one to go for. For MnM, their final defense, we'll see how the attack does change up. Will they go for the same kind of bathroom tellers where they take from that, try and push their way in with Feral on the glass? But then, as you can see, the great retake being established by the players of MnM just put that to rest very, very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see the kind of switch up and changes that both the teams will try and make. I don't really see MnM making a whole too much changes. Potentially we could see Vexed just completely change up everything they've done and try and attack the top floor, try and play that vertical game more. And, you know, they're bringing Thermite, they're bringing Habana with those hard breach. Why not use it?
Just received word that we could be seeing a sub from Vexed. Unfortunately, ooh. Zach.
I think I might know who potentially one of those substitutes could be.
I don't know who's listed as substitutes on their roster. Is Penghu listed as a substitute on their roster?
He is.
Oh, that would be an interesting one. If Penghu comes in, that might really,
oh
really shift the tides majorly in favor of Vex. Remember, they are allowed official substitutes. I don't know whether there is a timing rule when it comes to bringing a substitute in here. Unfortunately, I'll have to wait for word on our admins and that. They are just clearing that out because as it stands, it looks like Zach is unable to continue play due to connectivity issues, but that's why you have registered subs in this situation, and if he is available to come in and join, hopefully that will be the case. And then we can get back on with some Siege here on Border. Now, after this match, I believe we have Unnamed going up against... Now I'm going to rack my brains for the final team. I can't.
I know it. Do you know it?
No. That's what
Wind and Rain.
Wind and Rain. So we're going to have Unnamed, which is the Madman's team from the previous ESL Premiership, going up against Wind and Rain, a newcomer to the Premiership. We've seen them in other games like League of Legends, for instance. They've been sort of across the board, across many other esports, but this is their first time in the Premiership, Rainbow Six.
We know a couple of the players, though.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. We know Melons, and we know Pat from last season, who played for Radix.
We will be subbing a player. I think we might be completely restarting the game, though, to give it oh, it'll be 2-2, so we actually sort of just resetting the lobby. So it'll be 2-2. We've got a subbed-in player coming in. I will get confirmation from my production who that sub player will be specifically, so we can talk a little bit about the impact of that. But as it stands, they are going to reset that lobby. We're going to go in at 2-2. We're going to carry on from where we left off, and that is going to be an allowed substitution. Again, who are the official subs listed on the roster?
I only seen Penghu that I know of. There might be somebody else, but at the moment I've seen player number 6 as Penghu.
I'm waiting just for confirmation from our sort of backroom staff to be able to tell us. They are still waiting on the official substitute. So either something's been agreed and they haven't been informed of it yet, or we have a surprise substitute coming in. It could be anybody. Could be me.
I'm thinking it might be Penghu. I have a feeling that has that kind of gut feeling.
Penghu will be subbing in. It has been confirmed.
It is Penghu. Okay, so
the best player in the world will be subbing in for the Vexed roster in the ESL Premiership.
The Nut boy will come out to play.
And I'm not even taking this out of context. Demo literally said, I said, oh, Penghu. He goes, yeah, the best player in the world. So
it's proven fact. The guy has won the most. He has won the most championships. I believe he has the all-time current kills inside of a game. You know, what can you really say about him?
Does this massively shift the favour in form of Vexed?
I'm pretty sure you know the answer to that. You don't even need to ask me for that.
That was a rhetorical question. It absolutely has shifted things massively in favour as Penghu on Dockerby comes through here for Vexed. Immediately back into the game. We are 2-2, remember, so this is the final attacking round for Vexed and MnM. I mean, if they take a win off Penghu, I'm sure they'll be very happy. Clash comes in for the first time as it was not banned. That's going to be going over to Prox. Actually switches over at the last minute to Pulse with that 6th pick. And everything has been locked in as it stands.
Yeah, so it will be that ventilation room and workshop, which is what I was expecting on the side of Vex. We'll have to see how Penghu does. I'd imagine he will just be, you know, what he usually does and just be Penghu. And it's kind of, we see a kind of Vexed and G2 kind of split here. So it's a multi-talented team, to say the less.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Right, here we go. This is it for Vex. They could solidify themselves a very slim lead going into their defensive phase. Penghu coming through again on that Dokkaebi, and you'll know more about Penghu than I will. Dokkaebi, good for him? Is anything just good for him? Is that just literally just a question that I shouldn't be asking?
He can just play really anything he needs to. That's the kind of flex player he is. He can just perform whatever he needs to do. Of course, this isn't going to be his main team, but still, nonetheless, I'm sure he will prove to be pretty vital. MnM, this has made things just a little bit more harder because you do now play against Penghu, who I didn't think was actually playing inside of the Prem. I'm sure he was on the substitute roster, but I spoke to him and he said, yeah, I'm not going to want to play a match of Prem. He wants to let, you know, these guys from Vexed, who this is, you know, their first big breakthrough league, to actually have a bit of that experience.
And unfortunately, connectivity has forced him to move in onto this roster, and you can see now following Penghu here, going to start the scouting process. It is going to be, like you said, the ventilation workshop defense here, and MnM have been good on that first floor defense, and has been their strength against this Vex roster on the attack so far. As Glaz also on the side of Vex, something that actually Feral has made really good use of. Tended shots coming through here, not going to spy out anybody just yet, but was in the right line of sight to try and pick off one of the MnM members just hiding out in that particular vicinity.
So already a couple of the walls will be breached by Vex, primarily in towards that detention, so they certainly could be looking for that same kind of push where they want to establish that, not really that domination of the top floor, but more in towards the tellers and that customs. Providing that access to the custom just kind of blocks off any potential rotations that the players of Vex may want, or should I say MnM want to go for. Doki still retaining that fragging potential even after the rehost. He will eliminate the smoke. A big kill for him. Another frag gets tossed out by Doki. Doesn't manage to land anything that time. And certainly the push will start to come in, as I'm sure we will see Dearly open up the wall along with Doki, who's actually going to snag a kill right onto the pulse. No, he doesn't, as Prox will somehow win that engagement. C4 gets tossed out as well, but to no avail, as it doesn't manage to land anything. And Feral, he will follow up as the Glaz. Prox will be eliminated, and finally, Dearly can go ahead and open up the wall.
3-3 though, as Frau trades back. Does take a lot of his life in return though. Penghu now making his way through. Will take the shot onto the camera there. That will stop anybody spying him out as it stands. And that is going to be Penghu now picking up his first kill onto Frau. Only took one bullet, could have hit him anywhere on the body, as Penghu now trading up again. Does get taken down by Citizen though, who will get the flank onto him, and now into a 2 versus 2 situation. But the diffuser is down, so the pressure is now on MnM to respond here, and the angles are being covered by Vexed as it stands.
Yeah, really at this stage it should be Feral cleaning up house. He has the angles onto the diffuser. Citizen going to try and retake as much as he can, but somehow Turtle won that engagement. Citizen turns on Dearly, and that will be the clutch coming in from MnM. The two remaining German operators somehow make it work. That is an unwinnable position that somehow they have won from.
And now they go into the attacking phase ahead, 3-2. Vexed super sub really didn't have the impact you might have expected, although, look, you can't really just expect to sub him into a random team and see him play at the same level he plays on G2, but regardless, now we move on to that attacking phase. And we'll see what comes through as it is now switched over to MnM.
So the attacks will be taken up by MnM, just like you said, and we will see more, I would say, of a change of pace compared to what we've seen Vex go for of the very heavy Glaz pushes, but at the same time, we're going to see Nello pick up that Glaz that we've seen him be so dominant on against Secret last week. Citizen throwing a bit of a spanner into the works. MnM, they did lose their Ashe because Vex did ban it out, but no, it was just a bit of a bait, and the Maverick instead will be brought to the table. A very stable lineup from MnM. They have the hard breach, they have the denial of any gadgets with the EMP grenades, and also Sophia always helps with a bit of soft destruction, and the utility that she provides with her fragging potential and those concussion mines can be very strong. Looking at the side of Vexed, they have a very heavy lineup. The Doc does provide, I would say, a lot more of you know, that kind of heal synergy that sometimes a player could get downed right behind the half wall. You can go ahead and stem him up from. Potentially inside of B, which is something that can happen, and Doki, he really likes MP5 ACOG. He was fragging out with it last week very heavily on this map. So we'll see if he can do a bit of the same again, or will it be a different story this time around?
Also going to have Penghu on the Valkyrie. A lot of information collecting. Sorry, I'm almost dying here.
10 seconds remaining.
Stop dying. Good.
Good.
5 seconds
Now
left
Vexed
before
have that pressure on them, because if MnM can start to take rounds very early on here, they'll be very quickly closing up to that 6-round win. And to take that off Vexed would be a big win for MnM after their win after Secret. The draw was Secret.
So still plenty of time for MnM. Just I hope that my co-caster doesn't fail for me, and I just really hope that you stick around with it, or else I may have to say that potentially Dez could have been better for you, which I never want to say.
Wow. I don't think that's ever been said in the history of casting.
No, I don't think so. But
Dez better than Nick Scoundrel. Yeah, right, mate. All
he can really cast is quad tank with all the Overwatch stuff, which he does. That's about it.
Yeah, to be fair, he can cast Overwatch pretty well, so I can't really take that away from him. So, moving back on now, Vexed mounting that defense. They are running with a 4-2 defense on the Armory and Archives. Who will win this match? This is from Six Nation HQ, by the way, guys. If you want to get involved and talk a little bit about the Rainbow Six matches. 63% of you said Vexed eBuyer are going to win this, and right now 63% of you are wrong, because MnM is in the lead 3-2, although it's not over just yet. As Thermite now looking for a hard entry here. We'll start things off as Bandit, I think, stop that in its tracks.
Yeah, the potential Bandit trick was implemented by the players of Vexed. Puts them off into a very good start, as that does allow only Freo to have one more opportunity at getting rid of that. Jesus, he has played so big on the Maestro last week, and certainly he will continue that reign of terror with the Alda, eliminating Citizens. So the big fragger for MnM will go off the board now. They're trying to peek his way in, using the advantages that the Glass does provide, and does manage to down one, but this is where Doki will come in very big with the dock that we were discussing. In the chaos, the Texan Dynamite will be blown. You can see the head of the dog, but Nello misses the shot. Doki tanks one and manages to scurry away out of that half-wall rotation, and just like we said, that will be dearly getting picked up by that stim pistol. Turtle trying to find his best to at least snag one kill onto Penghu, who has rotated himself in towards the server room for a potential C4 from below.
Really, really good start here from Vexed, and the Doc coming in a huge. Glaz unable to convert on a couple of those kills, and Dokistan trades back. It is a 1-for-1 though, as Frau gets a frag onto Dearly. Here comes the smokes coming through with 40 seconds to go. The zone control is starting to open up for Vex, and low HP bars are going to be punished as Dokistan picks up another one. You weren't wrong about the MP5 as Penghu picks up the next, and it is Thatcher versus the world at this point in time. I really don't know if a 1v4 Fat Thatcher is going to happen, but stranger things have happened indeed.
Penghu looking for his final kill, potentially inside of the round. He knows exactly where the Thatcher is. It's kind of just an impactless frag. Thatcher does manage to land the shots, but no. Penghu, he will assert his dominance and just takes that Claymore. And then we will move into Vex winning their first defense, and they look a lot scarier, I would say, on their defensive rounds compared to what MnM looked like on theirs. I
agree, absolutely. That was a very solid defense from Vex. The Doc coming in huge for Dokistan. Although, I feel like MnM missed some opportunities on that Glaz engage where they could have taken a couple of headshots here or there, and that would have converted very quickly, especially the open headshot onto Dokistan that he had. That might have really changed things up for MnM, but regardless, can't really talk about what has happened in the past. Hindsight is 2020, but Doc will come through again for Dokistan. Maestro, Castle, Bandit, and Valkyrie, not much changing up for Vexed. Glaz, Thermite, Maverick, Zafia, and Thatcher, so a similar lineup, although Montagna swapped out at the last minute here for MnM, and that changes strategies up very heavily.
Well, okay. That's a bit of a weird one for me. Typically, we see Montagna comboed with a Glaz because you can really just play that big powerhouse that is that Glaz right behind the shield. He can walk on in, give the callouts, and then it's pretty simple for you know, the OTS to do the damage. It's exactly what it does. Also, Montagna brings an extra 2 smoke canisters, but you're going to bring it and then not follow up with the Glaz that you've been so strong on. It's a really weird one for me. Maybe they just want to try and a different strategy that maybe they prepared. I'm not too sure really where MnM's going to go for this.
That is the first Montagna of the entire tournament so far, by the way. So something that we saw a little bit of in the previous Premiership. It is the first time it has been brought out here in our second season of the Rainbow Six Premiership here at ESL. So again, it does shake things up just a little bit, and again, Montagna gives you lots of zone control when you are an attacker, gives you plenty of engage potential, also just requires some kind of attention, will always draw some of the defenders to you, which is what Montagne is designed to do. He's designed to take punishment but draw defenders away and create space for the rest of your team.
Yeah, perfect example of that would probably be if Montagne wants to push in towards the armory. It kind of brings that fear factor for a defender where if you're there and you see the Montagne, you can't kill him. He knows exactly where you are, and he's giving call-outs to the rest of his fragging potential team. That's like the thing that Montagne does best, is just stands there, gives the information. You can't do anything about it unless you want to gas him, but then that wastes utility, which is exactly what Montagne wants. And then also the fact that Montagne can very easily quick switch into his pistol and kill you either way if you look away. So it's kind of that 50-50. Do you want to look at Montagne? Do you not want to? And risk that kind of potential. And this is exactly what these players will try and run into. A very top-heavy defense on the side of Vexed. There'll be 4 people upstairs. Nello stabs dearly, but straight away will be refragged. So they took the Bandit for the Montagne. A great trade for Vexed. And it does put them up into an early lead as that first bit of potential pushing will get shut down on the side of MnM. That
was a super aggressive push by Nello, and they actually rushed the Montagne. I think they forced him to open up his defense, and he managed to trade 1-for-1. Remember, that is a huge Penghu. Whoa, Penghu! That is what you expect from one of the best players in the world, just reading those angles so well. Gets the immediate kill onto Citizen, who, in my opinion, has been one of the standout players for MnM in this series so far, and suddenly Vexed are starting to open up and run away with it in these defensive rounds. Every member still healthy apart from the single Bandit going down early. And Doki-san holding that angle there. Penghu immediately getting a rotation out, and Feral as well, covering more angles on that second floor. I think you saw him on, maybe the first floor. But regardless, MnM right now, they are the ones with the pressure on their side.
They have rotated over towards the security and have opened up the armory wall to establish their first bit of beachhead, but the damage has been done by Vex. They have wasted enough time where they can't start rotating players downstairs, as it will only leave Feral on the actual bomb site. Jesus still playing this Alda in behind half wall, a very difficult position for the majority of players to deal with a defender, and the peek comes in from Doki, but then Freo automatically there with the refrag. Prox trying his best to get a kill. That's exactly what he will find onto Feral. So the last 2 remaining defenders will be Penghu and Jesus. Penghu did retreat for as much as he can. Jesus holding his ground.
Pressure is on now for MnM though, because they only have 30 seconds to start that diffuser. 20 seconds now timing down as well. You can see them moving in. Penghu holds the angle. Penghu gets the first down. Penghu looking for the second. Immediately trades in a 2-4 for Penghu. And Vexed win the round.
MnM just not enough time on their side, just frantically running in whenever they really didn't need to. They still had, I would say, at least a good 10-15 seconds there to have that final bit of drones. Maybe they were out of drones, they couldn't really opt for that, but nonetheless, Penghu clutching up for his team. I still believe that Jesus upstairs would have done the damage anyway, because he had those holes in the floor to deny that plan. Also the drop hatch, if things did get a little bit messy, and that attempted attack from MnM. They lost their Montagne very early on. Things just kind of fell apart from there. They didn't have the refrags coming out. They didn't have the intel that they needed. You could see that Penghu, he got a very easy kill onto Citizen as he went for the rotate. That's the lack of drones. If you do not do your basic right, this is where the best players in the world will punish you for that. Blackbeard
being opted into by here for MnM. And again, Blackbeard is one of those operators we saw a lot of in the previous Premiership, but has been dropping off a little bit. Actually switched back into Montagne. I always forget about that 6th pick. Montagne coming out again for Nilo. Needs to be a bit more careful, I think, with that aggressive maneuvers that he made in the previous round, because he opened himself up. And I know Montagne does do that. Like, Montagne is supposed to draw fire, supposed to draw pressure. He unfortunately left too many angles open for him, and when the MnM rushed, Vexed rushed and took a 1-for-1 trade, once you take out the Montagne, you lose so much from your composition when you pick him.
So we will move into a bathroom and tellers, which Vexed have been forced to because they did previously defend the top floor and also that bottom floor of the ventilation room and workshop. So they had the choice between the customs that we did see MnM at least try and attempt, or also the bathroom and tellers, which we have not seen played yet. So they will opt for this particular bomb site. So really what they're expecting is that very heavy top floor control, potentially a couple of anchors downstairs in the actual bomb site. So you could either play Doki in there or Jesus, really an ACOG with the thick armor can do a lot of good damage to any potential attack. MnM, they have finally taken a bit of words of advice, and they have decided to combo that Montagne with the glass. They really needed to have that kind of main pushing power, because they just didn't have it with their old lineup. They, they missed out on the Glass and even, getting rid of that Ashe that Citizen played so comfortably last week. Great target ban for Vex, just looking at it on paper.
Let's see what Nilo can manage this time around. And again, like you said, I love the combo with the Glass and the Montagna, because Montagna can create space and Glass can really capitalize on that by, when you force... When Montagna comes through, he forces your team into awkward angles because of the way Montagna pushes. You sometimes open yourself up where you shouldn't be opening yourself up, and that's where Glass can try and capitalize. And take some of the outside cameras out as well. Just needs to remember that they are there, and Valkyrie can utilize them. As Montagna now moving through, just walking straight towards Vexed. And you can see Doc, again, those angles being opened up by Montagna. The information being provided is almost impossible to trade back for, but it is a one-for-one trade at the end of the day as Doc goes down. Oh, Penghu picks off another onto Prox. Penghu now picks up another. What can you do to stop this man? It is another 2 for his Feral. Now, Montagna versus the world, but I don't know how far Montagna's going to get here as the C4 comes out. The pistol comes through. It's actually a decent play from Montagna, but all you need is a flank right now, and he will be struggling.
Quite smartly, the players of Vex know, yeah, it's a Montagna. Let's not go near him. Let's throw a couple of Pokeballs. Try and catch yourself a Montagna. They are playing Pokemon Go in their own game, but nonetheless, that will be it. Of course, other game titles are available. Just doesn't have to be Pokemon
like
Go.
Digimon Go and Yu-Gi-Oh Go, where you can sort of capture dark magicians.
Yeah.
Other card games are available. Magic the Gathering Go.
Hearthstone and other Premiership, but again, other card games are available.
Yeah, and Artifact, which isn't out Go. I heard that one's a good one.
But do you know what really isn't available? Any potential hope that Nello actually clutches up this round.
I mean, it's difficult. Right now, Vex are just retreating back towards those bombs. They're forcing Montagna to open himself up. You can see he's going to start to smash through here. Will open things up, and he's immediately highlights himself, turns his back, and Penghu picks up the kill. 3 kills for Penghu. The super sub doing some work here for Vexed.
Who would have thought that the best player in the world would be doing well? Huh?
It took him a round to get into it, but he's certainly started to ramp things up here for Vexed.
MnM just after that sub changes really cost them, but people may complain saying, oh, players like this shouldn't be able to play. This is a league that helps amateur players get better. If you want to try and make your way into the Challenger League, just a tier below Pro League, which I'm sure a team like MnM are trying to strive for, you will come against some of the best players in the world. How are you going to expect to get any better if you don't play against them?
You got to beat him at some point.
Yeah.
You got to beat him at some point. At the end of the day, if any one of these players are just, not trying to strive to be the best, then you're not in the right place. At the point in time, though, MnM now face a match point for Vexed, and Vexed have been absolutely stalwart. Love that word, stalwart in their defense. You can see Alex, our observer, shaking his head because it's the first time I've said it in Premiership. I used to say it all the time. I'm going to say it more just for his liking. And it doesn't really feel like MnM have a good answer here. Capitao being considered by MnM as being switched in. And it is going to be Capitao. So the first time that we see a Capitao, Bandit will be locked in. Switch being thought of immediately. No, they're going to go for the Capitao. And that's the first time that MnM will bring the Capitao to the offensive roster here.
So the Montagna just not really working for MnM. They tried to pressure these players of Vex as much as they could, but Vex being able to play around the shield operator, something that some teams actually do struggle against. I know at the Euro Cup on the weekend, Pentasports played it against the Vodafone Giants, and Vodafone Giants, they played Montagna 5 rounds out of 5 in their attacks, and really Pentasports just couldn't adapt. That's what happens to teams if you are used to playing against Montagna. Pretty sure it was like the biggest thing that we took away was Penta just are not good against shields in that scenario. And then I believe in the final of that it was Empire versus Vodafone, and then kind of Empire showed us how to counter a shield, and certainly Vex, they are doing just that against the Montagna, and they will have this top floor defense that they defended with so much ease last time, and even Jesus getting a little bit frisky for himself, going for a spawn peek.
MnM have the walls racked up against them. They really need to try and pick up a win here because they are just 1 round away from losing this particular game versus Vex, to have really ramped up since that sub-in from Penghu. MnM came in with a round score of 3 and still are at a round score of 3. There's been 3 wins on the trot for Vex as they went onto their defensive side. That Doc actually has been a really good pickup for them. Saved them in a couple of instances, but MnM have been lacking a little bit on execution as well. Penghu's roam on the Valkyrie has been absolutely insane as he looks to try and get onto that northern balcony there. As Citizen has already moved away from it, so Penghu won't find much love. There's nobody on his side of the map right now, so the roaming positions that he found in the previous game are not going to give the same kind of reward for him as they did. However, there is that opportunity for MnM to rotate back that way.
MnM will be looking to put all of their eggs in one basket, and that will be towards that armory push. Definitely the one that suits a Glaz the most, as he can just walk on in, just like we've seen Feral do with the Vexed attack Citizen. He's going to try and set himself up for any potential rotations that a player like Penghu may want to do in C4 from below, which is very, very common, and also can get rid of the Bandit, attempting to go for the Bandit trick, and just nearly pressure was put onto him, and he will scatter away in towards the half wall. Still a very difficult position, but as we can see, Turtle picks up the Capiteo, which will be able to have those asphyxiating bolts to do a lot of damage to that half wall area.
Actually, you can see the move in here through security, and there's a lot of sort of control over security and customs right now for MnM, and I believe they've already picked up their first kill. The Capital Bolt, I think, takes one. They take down Doc as well. This is a great resurgence from MnM. When they are facing down match point, they are able to respond really nicely as they make a very slow, methodical push now on the east side of, or the west side of the building, rather, on the west balcony. Shots coming through. Penghu picks up a kill. Can Penghu save the day right now, as MnM Gaming do have the diffuser? Penghu does get out of the smoke. Flash is coming through, but he holds his ground. He's just going to look for that opportunity as smoke is creating a lot of space. He does get taken down, though, as Feral picks up a kill. Actually, no, he doesn't. We just switched over. That was very, very close. Jesus is on the floor. Could be getting up right now, and Penghu will do that, bring him back to half HP, but trades his life for Citizens there for the 2-4, and it's now up to Feral, who can't do it, as Nilo picks up the round, and MnM finally get back on the board.
So it will go 5-4, our final round of the series. It will be round number 10. This is it. It will decide if Vex walk away with all 3 points and go right up to the top of the table along with Guidance, or will MnM take another draw for themselves? And again, I would say if MnM take this draw, it will be very, very strong for them leading up, because MnM have now played against Secret and played against Vex, the two strongest teams in it, and now they just have to play everybody else.
Exactly. They have got the roster of what's the one beginning with G?
Guidance.
Guidance. I always want to say Guardians, but I know it's not Guardians.
Guardians of the gaming.
Yeah, it's Guidance. So they do have Guidance left available, who is obviously doing really well, but they have had a little bit weaker opposition. We'll have to see, though, because Vexed still have had a strong defense. MnM finally find a crack in that defense, but regardless, they need to do that all over again. The Capital worked out so well for them in that previous map, though. It looks like they're going to roll with it once more.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
So the final round will be staged inside of the ventilator room and workshop, which is where Vex have defended and have already won on this bomb site. They're not going to opt for the top floor once again, so they're going to switch things up to the secondary bomb site that they have picked. We'll see if they can have that kind of same split where they had 4 up top and then only 1 roaming inside of Customs, really going for that big retake strategy. MnM, they kind of just went for the all-in push for that top floor attack, but really just fell short. The angles were being held by the players of Vexed, and certainly just the refries came in a lot stronger than I would say MnM anticipated. But still, 1 more round to go to the side. It could go either way. Whoever gets these first couple of refrags and kills on the board, then that kind of does dictate to see how the rest of the round will play out.
MnM looking like they're going to run with a very similar slow-paced strategy. Citizen again making his way over to that east balcony. That's what he did previously. He's not going to extend too far up to the north, though, because when he went up to that north side, that is where Penghu was able to strike. That's one of Penghu's favorite locations. It's just in archives on that north balcony, able to pick up a kill if you extend too far. Citizen, I think, learned from that previous kill and has not extended that far up north. More inclined to move with his team as a unit, and that's what has been impressive about MnM on the previous round. A very strong unit move, covering every angle themselves as they move up, no one going solo. Maybe there is questions being raised as to whether Vex was roaming enough in that situation, but regardless, MnM off to a pretty slow and steady start once more.
So still pretty all quiet on the western and eastern front. Nothing a whole lot happening that we can really talk about. I'm sure that MnM are just setting themselves up for this final couple of pushes. I'm quite proud of myself that I haven't done any MnM puns. Something that I really have, you know, have a bit of an addiction to. But thankfully, to MnM puns awareness, it has helped me through this tough time.
That's all peanuts, mate.
Oh dear. Well, looks like you caught it as well.
Sorry, I just couldn't help myself. So, again, slow and methodical for MnM. Like I said, nothing crazy going out right now. And that might play more into the favor of MnM, because Vexed seem to be preying on a bit of the disorganization of that MnM roster. Here comes the thermite charge. I think it will go off. Yeah, it will. I think there was a bandit, a charge on the wrong wall, and that will open up a hard breach into the area where Vexed are currently controlling. I'm not even quoting that. Jareth Barker, 2018. What, you're not quoting the peanuts thing? And anyway, that's going to be a first knockdown onto Frau. Feral gets the kill there, and now Feral forced to rotate, but Nilo very quick to trade off a 1-for-1 trade right now. That is the thermite going down. Already got a charge off though, so that's not the worst thing in the world. As a massive roam from Penghu comes in, he takes off one, he's looking for his second. That was a big run in by Penghu. Nilo picks up Penghu now though, as Penghu goes down. Doki-san is able to trade in very quickly. Right now the 1-for-1 trades going in favor of Vexed, as Prox now on Buck looking for the angles. Hasn't opened up much on the map and will be trying to get that defuse off in the corner, as the rest of Vexed using that lofty ceiling area to try and keep control of this bomb site.
Players of MnM in an extremely awkward position. So many players still left for Vexed to clutch this up. They have all the holes above. Citizen, an amazing shot from him. Dearly picks up one onto Citizen, so it will be all down to Prox. Diffuser has been planted, but really at this stage, you can see the teamwork that Doki and Dearly will try and exterminate.
Oh, wait a second,
no,
Prox
gets the clutch against the players of Vexed. I thought that was going to be all said and done, but no. Somehow, MnM pull off the clutch and really pull off a massive upset against Vexed, and they will at least snag themselves a draw. And Vexed, well, we've seen Penghu come in, 11 kills, but everybody else just not there for it. Wow.
Vexed too heavy. Vexed far too heavy. Penghu couldn't carry it all there, and it looked like it was all going to go in favor of Vexed right at the end, but MnM Prox with a clutch end, just moving at separate times there. It was very simple. They both went in one by one, a little bit like lemmings, and that was an easy cleanup. They should have really pincered in at the same time, so you were able to focus one of them, the other one got the shot. That's what you do. You trade off to 1-for-1 if you're in a 2v1 situation. However, massive congratulations to MnM to bringing it back. It looked all game over 3 rounds into that defense for Vexed, but they managed to clutch out the draw, which puts them now at 2 points. But that you know, that might not sound like a lot, but as Demo said during the cast, they have just faced the 2 best teams in the league and got draws. If they can take draws from the 2 best teams in the league, you expect them to take wins versus the lower end. And that means MnM are looking like big favorites now to make it towards those playoff stages, maybe even a direct live final spot.